Hi there. Welcome to Business Plan Important Financials Part 2. Remember that in the first part, when we talked about this, we looked at sales. So if you have not watched the video on sales, can I ask you to please do that before you carry on here? The link to that will be in the description box. Okay, let's get started. Today we're going to look at expenses. We're going to look at loans, equity, co-founder, and we're going to talk about profits as some of the most important financials that must be included in your business plan. All right, now let's go straight into this and look at expenses. Under expenses, there are three things I want to say. The first thing is that generally speaking, when we look at expenses, we tend to underestimate our expenses. We forget, secondly, that expenses always cost more and it takes longer. Every activity you may be involved in that requires you to spend money will always take a little bit longer than you anticipated. And generally speaking, it costs a little bit more than anticipated. I'm not saying that you could not go on Fiverr or go on maybe sites like like that and get more value for your buck. Yes, you can. But I want you to get into the habit of knowing that sometimes expenses always cost a bit more than we thought, and it takes longer to get things done. Because of that, I want to ask you to always add a 10 or 20% to what you thought it will cost you. If you do that, you will be on safe ground. All right. Next that we want to look at is loan, equity, and co-founder. Just going back to expenses for a moment, your expenses would definitely feature in your cash flow forecast. However, you do not need to add your expenses to your executive summary. Some people do, but you don't have to. But it will be featured heavily in your cash flow forecast, so you definitely need to get it right. Okay. Loans, equity, co-founder. Again, I want to say three things. What are they? Well, a loan is money that you get from a bank, generally speaking, or a government agency in the UK, and you have to pay that back. And you pay that money back monthly plus an amount of interest. Equity is money you receive from an investor, and that fund goes into the running of your business. And at the end of it, you could pay out dividends or you pay back all of the money plus interest as well. So when somebody gives you a loan, the difference between a loan and equity is that if the business goes belly up, you probably would have to pay the loan back. But if it's equity, you would not have to pay that money back. Okay, so you understand that. A loan, if the business goes bad, you're going to have to pay it back. Equity, if the business goes bad, then you may not have to pay it back. Just depends on what you sign. But generally speaking, you would not have to pay it back. Now, if you have a co-founder tends to be somebody who has come alongside you like a partner, and they're bearing as much of the risks in the business like you are. So you could have a co-founder that you've both invested the same amount of money in the business. Having a co-founder can be very good, actually, because you have somebody that you're sharing the burden with. You have somebody who has as much stake in the business as you are. You have somebody that you have chosen because you're willing to work with them. Unlike if you get equity, the person or organization that gives you the equity may want to put their own director on your board, and you may not really like that. But a co-founder is somebody that you have chosen. All right. So if you think about these three means of raising funds, either through a co-founder, through equity, or through loan, it just then depends on what you want. Are you looking for somebody you want to work with? Or are you looking for somebody who you just need their money and you don't want them involved in your business? Or are you looking for a little bit of involvement and money? If you're looking for a little bit of involvement and money, then equity is the way to go. If you're looking for just somebody investing money and you don't want them to have anything to say in your business, then you probably are looking for a loan. If you're looking for somebody to share the day-to-day burdens with, and somebody who's going to be just as committed in the business as you are, and they're bearing the same amount of risk as you are, and you like working with people, then having a co-founder could be the way to go. Like I said earlier, all three costs money. If you get a loan, it's going to cost you interest. If you get equity, the upside of it is that if anything goes bad, you don't have to pay the money back, but you're going to have to give either some of your shares or definitely your dividends. Some of your profits will go to the equity company or the person that provides the equity. If you have a co-founder, obviously they're sharing the burdens, and that could be exactly what you want, and you would not mind sharing the funds. By the way, if you have a co-founder, you don't have to share the profits equally. It's a decision that you need to make, though, in the beginning. So if you check out my course on partnerships, I'll put the link in the description. It would talk a little bit more about this. Now, let's go on here. The third figure that would need to be featured in your business plan is profits. Now, generally speaking, the first point there is that profits are most of the time exaggerated. When we talk about how much money we're going to make overall, we tend to exaggerate it if you're an entrepreneur. So you need to be more conservative than being someone who exaggerates their profit. Why? Because if you don't make that much profit and you promise to deliver dividends or interest and you are not able to, it's not going to stand well for you. So be conservative how you display the amount of profit you hope to get. The second point I want to make is that some people, particularly those who run social enterprises, tend to think they're not allowed to make profit. But that's not true. But if you run a profit-making business, you obviously know that you need to make money. Profits are necessary because profits, this difference between the profits and expenses is what allows you to grow your business. If you're not making any profits, you're not going to grow your business. And then finally, I put the word there, competition. The reason why I put competition is that you try and avoid trying to get rid of competition by charging less. Because if you are charging less than what your competitors are charging, that may not be the best strategy for you. Actually, I've noticed that some people will only work with you if you're charging a high price. And I know that sounds strange, but it's true. Because there's this belief that if you're charging more, then you're going to deliver more, which is generally true as well. So don't try to compete on price only. You can compete on other deliverables. You can compete on time. You can compete on quality. These are better competitive tools than trying to compete only on price. You understand? So please don't compete only on price, because you could be competing against an organization that do not mind dropping their price, and you cannot afford to drop your price beyond a particular point, because at that stage you will not be making profits. So you need to make profits. Okay, we've covered these three elements: expenses, loan, equity, co-founder, as well as profits. Now, like I said in the earlier comment that I made, I'm going to put the link in the description box for my partnership course, also other courses that we run as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to the channel, like it, share it, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.